Hello everybody there in YouTube, how's it going? ClassicGamePhreak here yet again to just go ahead and kind of highlight the Game Boy Advance actually, since the unboxing today was kind of a highlight of my day. I thought I'd go ahead and kind of talk about the Game Boy Advance a little bit. First off, I just went over to the GameStop and browsed their free bins and didn't really find anything. I found some empty cases last night. I found a stack maybe that high of PS2 cases with booklets and things like that. So kind of bummed I haven't found anything lately. I know there'll be a big payout eventually. Tonight I only found 2 posters, so I thought I'd share those real quick. So first off is Max Payne 3. I'm looking forward to this game, but I probably won't buy it for a while simply because the Vita has taken a chunk of my change. I'm dying to play this. I've loved the Max Payne games, and this is no exception. It's about time. It's about time this come out. And then the second one, I know that there's a lot of people who actually like this game. Me personally, I'm not too keen on it. I'm not too big on it. So, maybe this poster can be used in a trade. Same with the Max Payne. All my posters mostly are all up for trades. I'll do another video on those to kind of show a little bit better the posters I've got, because I want to be doing a trade video soon. But this game, Kid Icarus. I mean, you could, even if you don't like the advertising for the DS, you could always just cut down the middle here, cut out the coming soon part at the bottom, and boom, you got yourself a little decent Kid Icarus poster. So, yeah, and that's pretty large too. That's 3.5 by maybe 2.5. Nah, who knows? I'm tired. So, yeah, those were 2 of the 3 I found. The third one was a Mass Effect 3, but it was mostly an advertisement. I didn't see really what it was when I pulled it out of the bin. I'm just going to throw it away because, it's like, hey, pre-order and get this now. So, anyway, with that aside, like I said, today I had received my Game Boy Advances, and they both work fantastically. They are a little dirty, which I'll be able to take them apart and clean them up. I love doing that. So a little project. But I was playing with them a little bit today, and I thought I'd do this video. I don't know how long the video is going to take. So if you want to hear me ramble on, then great, cool, keep watching. First off, I don't have a large collection of games. I loved my Game Boy Advance back in the day, and I actually went and bought quite a few. I mean, here's the stack without the boxes, if you can see there. And I mean, it's ridiculous to think nowadays just how much we're paying for these things. This one was $24.99 without the box, and I bought these things religiously. So that that's crazy. I remember back in late 2003, I ended up getting this call center job, and with my first paycheck, I knew that since it was a call center, I was going to need something to keep myself occupied while I sat at my desk and did whatever. So the thing I did was, with my first paycheck, I went and bought a Game Boy Advance SP, and it was the blue one. So I miss that thing. I really do. That's why I'm after one again. Game Boy Advance is cool, and I mean, it's all great and everything, but it's not backlit. So, like if I'm going to go in my living room right now, which is dark, this isn't going to work. So, an SP is where it's at, or a Game Boy Micro. But I bought that, and then I actually bought the Phantasy Star Collection, because I needed something that, was deep and was going to last a while, and that lasts a while. So, I really loved Phantasy Star on the Sega Genesis, Phantasy Star 3 on the Sega Genesis, and so that's what made that, the reason I bought that. So, I will go ahead and kind of show off some of the other games I have here. And I mean, I'll start out with simply, I mean, you know, everybody's got to have a sports title on their systems. So Madden 2003, I liked it. You know, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't just buy it as filler or anything like that. I actually needed a football game. You know, I do like playing football. I like playing football games, so that was a must. I was a big fan of this game in the arcades, and I mean, it kind of kept some of the flair, you know, on the Game Boy, but you know, Silent Scope. Decent game. It was kind of fun in the arcades because you could actually look in the scope, and you know, they had a little video screen in there that showed you a closer view of what you were looking at. It's pretty neat. This game, strangely addicting, even though the games now suck. You know, all the sequels now suck and everything, and the franchise is pretty much dead. But Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. That game, just trying to get as many combos as you can and then spelling out the word skate and all that. There's something about it. I played so much of this. And I know they're coming out with an HD remake and everything, and I don't know. It just seems kind of goofy to me. But I am a Dragon Ball Z fan at heart, even though I haven't watched Dragon Ball Z in some time. So this one was a must for me. Dragon Ball Z 2, Legacy of Goku. Or Dragon Ball Z, The Legacy of Goku 2. So, it isn't what I expected, but I mean, it's Dragon Ball Z, so not too bad. Had to have this. This actually kept me busy at work. Super Street Fighter 2, because I love my fighters. I am a Street Fighter fan, so I was happy to get that one. Now we're getting down to some of the finer games. Lunar Legend. If you've never played Lunar, it's a JRPG. Come on, everybody's heard of Lunar. Really? If you haven't heard of Lunar, what's wrong with you? This one is a little bit more popular now. Advance Wars. That game is actually pretty fun. I'm actually thinking of starting a new game on there. I could see myself losing some time in that again, so that'd be neat. Another game. I actually talked about this in an email to a friend a minute ago, and I told him Secret of Mana. And I want to correct myself on that. I didn't mean Secret of Mana, I meant Sword of Mana. So that's the one that was the $24.99 from GameStop. GameStop was an addiction for me back when I worked at that job. On my lunch break, I would go over and I would pick these games up. So we'll go ahead and go with Metroid Fusion. This, you know, I was blown away by this game. It did remind me of Super Metroid, but it was handheld and it had a story to it, which was real neat. I mean, it wasn't like Other M or anything like that, where Samus was just, you know, a submissive little bitch or anything like that and didn't do anything without permission from her CO. She did talk about an old commanding officer in here. I believe his name was Adam, but it had a great narrative. So I highly recommend that. If you've never played that and you're a Metroid fan, give that one a shot. Also, you could use it in conjunction with Metroid Prime, I believe it was. You could unlock suits of armor if you played this and you somehow imported it to the GameCube. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure that was the case. So, yeah, that's neat. I like that. And then, of the unboxed games, Castlevania Circle of the Moon. You know, I don't remember that one all that much. I hate to say I'm a Castlevania fan, but I don't really recall that one or what the story was about. I think I'm going to have to pop that into the Game Boy here in a little bit and try to remember. So those are my unboxed games, and like I said, with the box games, I showed you Phantasy Star. I was so glad I kept some of these boxes because they even have the books in them and everything, so that's real neat. This one I actually pre-ordered. Out of the 4 that I have here, 2 of them I pre-ordered. I remember I was so excited. This one I got off on my lunch break and ran there and picked it up the day it came out because, as I mentioned before, I am a Max Payne fan. So being the Max Payne fan I also picked it up on the Game Boy Advance. And, you know, for what it was a pretty decent game. It still had some of the voice in it. It was, you know, an isometric view, kind of like, you know, like Diablo. So, I mean, it kept, you know, the bullet time and so on. That was real neat. So, you know, they really kept a lot in a little cartridge. So, it's a decent handheld game. To be honest, I've never beat that game. I'm there in the Acer Tower right at last, but it's next to impossible to beat. I've had that game for years, and I still haven't beat it. I tried it the other day and forget it. This one, I had originally played on the Sega Genesis back in '93 when it first came out. My uncle introduced me to it, and this was the other one I had to pre-order as soon as I realized it was coming out on the Game Boy Advance. But that's Shining Force, Resurrection of the Dark Dragon. This game is a great strategy game by Atlas, and yeah, it actually wasn't by Atlas to begin with. They just redid. I'm sorry, I'm turning here. My cat's trying to step on the posters because they kind of slid off. But yeah, by Atlas, great game. And then this one's actually the most unique that I have. And this one was by Hideo Kojima, which actually is the director and creator of the Mortal Kombat. Man, it is late. Of the Metal Gear series. And, you know, whenever he wasn't doing those, he was doing side projects, and one of them was Boktai, The Sun Is In Your Hands. Now, this game, what makes it so unique was how you played it. Let me see if I can get this out of here. There we go. Now, the cartridge right here, as you can see, is way different than the normal cartridges. And you know, it's kind of the clear, you know, you can kind of see into the cartridge a little bit, and I mean, that's all nice and neat. Now, what separated this game from other games was this here. You see that black square? What that is right there is a solar chip. And yes, you use it in the sun. Now, when you would put it in the game system, bam, it kind of came out over the game. In the game, you fight using the sun rays. You have a solar gun, basically, that you put up in the air, and you can charge it using the sun rays. When you're in a dungeon in the game, there's sun that shines in. That is, of course, if you have sun shining on the cartridge, and then you use that to fight the monsters to replenish your weapon, because you have to use that. Now, you could store reserve energy in your gun so you could play at night or on a rainy day or whatever. But once you got to one of the bosses, normally they were in a coffin. What you'd have to do is drag them back to something which was a big insignia on the ground called a pile driver. In order to fight that boss, you had to have sunlight. You had to be out in the sunlight. You couldn't use just your reserve energies. So that made that game hugely unique. And they made a sequel to it. I'm actually after Boktai 2. Very unique game. I'm very glad I have that one, especially with the box. Just real neat. If you can find it, I recommend it, of course. So yeah, Boktai. So anyway, that's what I have to show for tonight. I just felt like doing a video. I'm bored and tired. I probably won't post this till tomorrow, unless, you know, I let it upload while I'm asleep, which I doubt. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Subscribe, of course, and thank you for letting me rant for the last 14 minutes. Very appreciated, especially if you sat through the whole thing. You're awesome. So Until next time, until next video, thank you for watching, have a good night, and I'll see you next time.